Yo, what's good? So this is my official prediction for Miguel Cotto versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, which will take place at the Mandalay Bay on Saturday. And I, for one, am excited about this fight. I know people have been talking about how there hasn't been that much build up for this fight and all that, but I'm honestly not a fan of the 24/7 series and the face-offs anymore unless they're good. I mean, I watch most of them, but a lot of them aren't that good because a lot of people's stories aren't interesting. I watched the one with Lara because I really wanted to know his story because he's Cuban. And really you talk to any Cuban and their story is going to be interesting. And basically this one's just Canelo talking with his trainers and Freddie Roach. I mean, Miguel Cotto praising Freddie Roach as he always does from now on. So if you miss the 24/7, you really didn't miss much. And the face-off, neither guy has a huge personality. Neither of them is very flamboyant or talks a lot of trash. So that wasn't great either. But you got Mexico versus Puerto Rico. I think I think this fight will do good. Other than that, this fight, I like this fight, man. I like this fight. You got two talents. You got a veteran versus a youngster. But Canelo's been pro for 10 years. So he's a young veteran as well. So you got basically two veterans, two established fighters. Canelo's legacy isn't established. That's what's not established with Canelo. Cotto's legacy is. He's already a Hall of Famer. Anything Cotto does from now on could only build upon his legacy. He could only get greater. Canelo could fall off. He could not reach his pinnacle. That's the difference between this fight. So, Canelo should be the hungrier man in this fight. Cotto has been talking about maybe this this may be his last fight. These fights might be his last fights. He hasn't said it directly, but the way that he didn't care, didn't pay the sanctioning fee for the WBC, doesn't care about the title, just tells me that he doesn't want to keep fighting. At least he doesn't want to keep fighting at middleweight anymore. But I don't think that he wants to be fighting much longer if he's not gonna be fighting for belts. Because I think Cotto is that type of fighter that does want to be champion, that does want to fight for the belts because he wants to prove he's the best, and that's one way he has been able to prove it throughout the years. He is that type of old school fighter, and the fact that he's kind of changing in mentality tells me that he may be retiring after this fight, or if this fight's a great fight that warrants a rematch after that fight. So, how is this fight gonna play out, man? Oh, I have an idea, but I think I think it won't be official till the end of this video. So, I think Cotto will start off boxing. He does have the better footwork. He is faster. He has the better boxing ability. He showed that very well in his fight against Daniel Gill, that he still is fast. He still could throw fast combinations, sharp combinations, and he could still hurt his opponents. I think Canelo has, as of now, I think he has the better body work. You could argue that it's Cotto, but recently Cotto hasn't really been using it in his fights. So I would say Canelo does. I think Canelo hits harder. He's a naturally bigger man, and he will be the bigger man in the fight. He'll probably come in like at 170 or something like that. So he will have a size advantage and a strength advantage. I think he also has the better chin, even though Cotto has a very good chin. Cotto's been hurt. Cotto's been dropped several times in his career, and he was dropped even by dropped and hurt even by fighters that aren't world class, like Chop Chop Corley. I know Chop Chop didn't drop him, but he did hurt him. So Canelo got that advantage in that. So that's what makes this fight so hard. That's what makes this fight a pick and fight, and that's what makes this fight great. I think it'll be a great fight. I think Cotto will try to box in the beginning of the rounds, in the first rounds, and I think he'll effectively outbox Canelo in the first rounds because his speed will surprise Canelo in the first rounds. I know he'll probably be working on that like in his training camp, but he won't be ready for that until he gets used to it in the first rounds. So I think he'll need a few rounds to get used to his speed to start cutting off the ring, because Canelo can cut off the ring. He didn't cut off the ring very well against the likes of Austin Trouts and Lara, but Cotto, even though he has good footwork, he does not have the footwork of Erislandy Lara or Austin Trout. He just doesn't have that mentality. He won't run for 12 rounds. He won't move around for 12 rounds. Even in his fight with Margarito, the rematch, I think that was his purest boxing performance. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have another fight, I will gladly watch that fight. But I think that was his pure boxing performance, and he still stood in there at times to try to knock Margarito's block off, which is a kind of silly of a thing to do against a fighter like Margarito, who has a chin of stone. And can't knock him out unless you're Shane Mosley. So I don't think he'll be able to outbox Canelo for 12 rounds because that won't be his style. Cotto is a natural banger. He's a natural puncher. He wants to knock you out. He has 33 knockouts. 33 knockouts in his 40 victories. That's a 75% KO ratio. So he is a natural banger. And so is Canelo. So I think Cotto at spots, he'll try to slug it out with Canelo. And that's where Canelo will be able to land his hard body punches in the first few rounds. And that will slow him down for the middle rounds. So Canelo would go hit the body and then come on top with those beautiful uppercuts that he likes to throw, which Margarito landed on Cotto as well. And those uppercuts and those body shots, I believe, will be the key to beating Miguel Cotto, because those are the punches that will slow him down. And when Cotto will start slowing down, he'll want to outslug Canelo. And I don't think he'll be able to hurt Canelo, not because he doesn't have the power, but because Canelo has more power and Cotto is a smaller guy. So I think if they were stand toe to toe and Cotto lands first and Canelo lands second, I think Cotto gets hurt with less than what would hurt Canelo, if you guys understand that logic. So it would take more to hurt Canelo than it would take to hurt Cotto. So that's why I think Cotto will get hurt in this fight. He will have a bruise. He will have a bruised face. His eyes will get cut. His eyebrow will get cut from the uppercut or the left hook or just a straight, those constant jabs that Canelo throws as well. So his right side of his body, his right eye will be cut and he will be bruised in the later rounds. But that's when Canelo starts to fade a little bit. But I don't think Cotto will have enough to win the fight. He might win the 11th and 12th at the end, where Canelo's pretty faded, because Cotto still gives a tough fight in the middle rounds, even though Canelo is winning those rounds because he banged to the body. But Cotto will not have enough to hurt Canelo in the last rounds. He will, though, have enough to throw more and win those rounds by scoring. He will be able to score more because Canelo won't have the stamina to finish strong in those last rounds. So I'm picking I'm picking Canelo Alvarez by a a unanimous decision or a majority decision, a really close fight, like a 8-4 or a 7-5, where it's clear Canelo won, but it will be an exciting fight. I think it will be. So leave your predictions below, and what do you guys think? Are you excited about this fight? I am. So you guys have a great day, and peace.